Welcome. Today we'll explore Cloud Build, an artifact storage service provided by Google Cloud. The main purpose of Cloud Build is to compile or otherwise package up your code and send it to something called the Artifact Registry. Think of the Artifact Registry as a central storage place where you can manage and keep all your application artifacts, especially Docker images. After you've built your application with Docker, you can easily use it with other Google Cloud services, such as Google Kubernetes Engine or Cloud Run. Let's start with a hands-on demonstration. We'll begin by using the Cloud Shell editor, which you can access by clicking on Cloud Shell in your Google Cloud Console and then clicking on Editor. If you want to follow along, you can do the same steps. In this demonstration, we won't focus on any particular programming language. Instead, we'll work with a simple example using a Docker file. For our example, we'll use Nginx, which is a popular web server. We'll make it display some custom text in an index.html file. This will let us see our custom container working while making only small changes to the basic Nginx setup. The next step is usually to create our build specification. In this file, we need to list the steps that Cloud Build should follow. We can use a Docker type step from Cloud Builders and add specific arguments to it. If you need help with the arguments, you can look at the Cloud Build documentation. For example, we could copy a script from the Build Quick Start guide to help us build our image. However, for simpler cases like we have here, we don't actually need a build specification. Rather, we have a simple Docker file set up and can just run a command called build submit. Before we can do this, we need to have one thing ready, an artifact registry repository. Let's set these up through the Google Cloud Console. First, search for Artifact Registry and enable its API. Then create a new repository. For this demonstration, we'll choose a single region configuration because it's more cost-effective than using multiple regions. When setting up the repository, you can leave most settings at their default values, but it's recommended to turn off vulnerability scanning for this demo. An important note, if you need to run Docker commands directly, you can configure the Docker CLI to work with your new repository. While this isn't usually necessary when using Cloud Build, it's helpful to know in case you want to use Docker commands like docker pull directly. Next, you'll need to make sure you have the correct project settings and path configurations. With everything configured, and sometimes after a retry if you just recently enabled the API, you can successfully execute the command gcloud build submit. When you run this command, you'll see a live stream of Docker logs appear. These logs show you the entire build process. First pulling the base image, then running the echo command we specified, and finally pushing the completed image to the registry. All of this work is being handled by the fully managed Cloud Build service. To see the details of what just happened, you can search for Cloud Builds in the console and find your recent build job. This will show you everything about your build, all the steps that were executed, the zip file containing your code, and the build artifacts, including your newly created Docker images. When you click View Artifact in the console, you'll see your brand new image with the latest tag. This Docker image is now ready to be used in other Google Cloud services like Cloud Run or Google Kubernetes Engine, GKE. Let's talk about the cost of using Cloud Build. It's what's called a serverless service, which means you don't have to manage any servers yourself. The pricing is quite reasonable because you only pay for the time spent building. Specifically, you're charged per build minute. If you're doing quick Docker builds, the cost will be minimal, and many users find their usage fits within Google Cloud's free tier. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, consider starting a free trial of our new design tool, which is linked in the description, and let us know what you think. Today's diagram file and code will be in the description as well. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and please enjoy responsibly.